there's just one man in sports I don't bet against when the stakes are highest. He is the ultimate game manager, as in I'm playing chess to your checkers.
Some of the greatest surgeons in the world cannot operate with this kind of precision.
Picturesque. What a beauty.
Virtuoso.
He can flat out play. We're going to go on a run.
Cross the header is an absolute stunner.
I'm here to have their back.
All next week, following World Cup action, we'll be live at 10 a.m. Eastern, getting you ready for Thanksgiving football. It's headlined by Skip's Cowboys taking on Saquon Barkley and the Giants, only on Fox. Over in Carolina, the Panthers have named Baker Mayfield their starter versus the Ravens. Baltimore's head coach John Harbaugh said in his press conference, quote, "I have a lot of respect for Baker Mayfield. We've had some incredible battles with him when he was with the Browns. Some great games. We know what he's capable of doing." Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how much respect do you really think Harbaugh has for Baker Mayfield?
Publicly, 8. Privately, a 2. I'm a firm believer, Skip. You respect everyone, you underestimate no one, and you'll be just fine going into a ball game. But they know what he is, and they also know what he isn't. He's a guy. See, the question that I would like to pose to you, Skip Bayless, of the 32 teams, of the 31 other teams, which one would trade their quarterback for Baker Mayfield? That's all you need to know.
Well, we're doing it right now. We're going to do it back in 2019.
Right now. Because he wasn't playing. This ain't 2019. Why you keep living in the past? This ain't hot tub time machine.
Well, he got hurt last year, and he wound up on the worst team in pro football this year.
That's what normally happens to quarterbacks that's not very good. When they get hurt at one location, they go to a bad situation because that's what they're deserving of. Look, Baker Mayfield in 5 games started this season. He's dead last in QBR. He's dead last in completion percentage. He's 30th, averaging 186 passing yards a game. Skip Bayless says, he's been outstanding against the Baltimore Ravens. In 8 games against the Ravens, when he's with the Cleveland Browns, he went 3-5, 13 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. 8 games, he's 3-5. Now, if he was 5-3, you'd have a very compelling argument. But unfortunately for you, in my case, he didn't go 5-3. He went 3-5. He's a guy. And the sooner you come to grips, you got to embrace our frailties. You will not embrace that Baker is frail. He's imperfect. In other words, to make a long story short, and I've made this short story very long. He's not good.
That's true. That's the only true thing you just said.
He's not good.
You will not embrace the fact that Baker Mayfield has been very good for long stretches of his career, including many games, multiple games against the best team in his division, the Baltimore Ravens. When in Cleveland, when healthy, Baker Mayfield was at his best against the best, which was the Ravens in that division. So I believe, to answer Jen's question, that scale of 1 to 10, how much does he actually respect Baker Mayfield? I'll say privately a 6 and publicly a 6, because he is the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, and they are in a commanding position. They are 12.5-point favorites over Baker Mayfield and what's left of company at home. 12.5-point favorites against a team that now ranks somewhere between 30 and 32 in the power rankings.
But you told me he was going to do some great things there.
Well, I thought he was, and he did a great thing in the opener against his former team. He threw for 155 in the fourth quarter, but he's just a guy.
Okay, what did he do in the first 3 quarters?
He brought him all the way back to the lead 24-23, and they got 2 horrendous calls, one missed and one made, horrendous calls that yanked the game right out from under them.
You know what? Since Baker entered the league 2016, right? He has the most almost game-winning drives in the NFL.
Yeah, but
that ain't a stat.
We're talking about versus the Baltimore Ravens.
He's 3-5.
So let's look at what has happened actually against the Baltimore Ravens. This is why he's starting against the Baltimore Ravens, because somebody upstairs in analytics said, "Hey, Coach Wilkes, hold on just a second. Do you see these numbers that Baker Mayfield, just a guy, put up against the Baltimore Ravens?" No, I didn't know that. Yeah, let's count the ways, shall we? In a narrow loss at Baltimore, this was in 2018, Baker threw for 376 yards. It was only in 2018.
What did you say first? What did you say?
Narrow loss,
okay,
26-24. Okay. Narrow loss. 376 yards against the best team in the division on the road at Baltimore. Then in a narrow home loss. It was narrow. It was 47-42. Baker Mayfield threw for 343 yards against that Baltimore vaunted defense. You're kidding me. And then, wait a second. In a win at home, it was a low-scoring win, but he did win the game. He threw for 342 yards. And then finally, his best game that he played as a pro was at Baltimore. It was a win. It was 40-25, Cleveland over Baltimore. And Baker Mayfield threw for 342. But he's just a guy, says Shannon Sharp.
Hold on. So let me
just a guy. Wait a second. So just a guy threw for 376, 343, 342, and 342, all against the best team in his division. 2 of those games on the road. Wait a second. That's just a guy? Yeah. I think that's just a really good guy.
So let me ask you a question. You believe Carson Wentz is just a guy? You think he's had any games that he's thrown for 376 yards? Mm-hmm. You believe Mark Sanchez was just a guy? You believe he had any games over 300 yards? See, you make it seem like if you're just a guy, you can't have moments. Of course you can have moments. But is it sustainable?
Best against the best, though.
Skip, he's 3-5.
His best.
He's 3-5.
Okay,
in 8 games.
Again, but Baltimore was favored in all those games because they were just better than Cleveland.
Okay,
all right?
but see, the thing is, what the really great quarterbacks can do, even when they're the underdogs, they can spring the trap.
All right. So does John Harbaugh actually have some respect, more than 500 respect for Baker?
No,
I'm sure he does.
I just gave you 2.
Absolutely.
He gave you 2. I gave you 2.
Yeah, I just gave you too many numbers because I didn't average these, but the average of these have to be 350 yards a game. He's averaged 350 yards passing a game against the Baltimore Ravens.
See, when you start off with, say, in a loss, it's kind of like when somebody says, Shannon, you won the lottery. I don't hear anything else. All I heard is won the lottery, so I know something. Once you say it started with an L, what else I need to hear? He can throw for 5,000 yards.
But we're not talking about Dak Prescott Memorial empty calorie yards in some blowout loss. It was 26-24 in a loss, and it was 47-42 in a loss. But it went to the wire, and
he couldn't get no separation with Trace McSorley. Trace McSorley was holding that thing down until L. Jack. L. Jack was in the ambulance, feet propped up.
Yep.
He's like, this thing about to get out of hand. He said, I'm gonna let him get one more drive.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna come out. He came out that thing.
You know why?
They said, no, Mr. Jackson, you can't do that. And he said, sorry, Miss Jackson. He said, I'm for real. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Here I come to save the day.
And you know what? He's thinking,
what'd he do?
I got to deal with Baker Mayfield because this guy is serious business.
Skip, that's L. Jack.
Yeah,
L. Jack.
I got to deal with him because he's beaten my butt before. He beat my butt in 2019, 40-25 at home. You don't think that was a low point for those Ravens? They gave about 40 at home to Baker Mayfield? How did Baker Mayfield score 40 points?
And he hadn't scored 40 points since.
Interesting.
He hadn't scored 40 points since.
Just a guy. Just a guy. Yeah.
Say it with me. Jag.
So just another guy for the Cleveland Browns in his rookie year, won 7 games for a team that went 0-16 the year before. How can he be just a guy when you win 7 games?
7 games, wow. They played 16.
He won over the Hall of Famer. Shake and bake, baby. That's what you kept telling me, shake and bake. You loved him. He won 7 games for a team that went winless. And then once Odell went down and out, knocking on wood for Odell to come back healthy for my Cowboys.
Exactly.
But, yeah, once he went down and out at Cincinnati, Baker just took off again, and here he went. 8-3 run. He was graded 4th best quarterback over those 11th game by Pro Football Focus in the whole NFL.
Over 11 games. You see what you do? See what you did? Last night, I just imagine if a team could just take a player's best game.
Yep.
No, I got you for the whole season.
Yeah.
I don't need 11. They play 16. They play 17. So what were you for 16 or 17
How did just another guy go win a playoff game at Pittsburgh, a game that your team hadn't won since 1994, a playoff game?
Blaine Gabbert has won a playoff game.
Interesting.
Is he any good? You like Blaine Gabbert? Can I teach you that?
Did Gabbert have a QBR of 91 and a playoff win on the road?
Yes.
He did not.
He did against Pittsburgh.
No,
his was 92.
No, it was not.
Go look it up.
Oh, please.
Go look it up. Blaine Gabbert. Hold on. Was that the guy at Jacksonville that had Tom Brady down?
No.
Is that him?
I think you got the wrong guy. Aren't you thinking of Blake Bortles?
Blake Bortles.
Yes.
Blake Bortles. Is he any good? You like Blake Bortles? He had a 92.
I thought he was pretty good.
Oh, you thought he was pretty good. You think he was pretty good because you want to accentuate old Baker Mayfield.
No.
He had a 92 against Pittsburgh. It's somebody Pittsburgh Steelers giving up to subpar guys these high QBRs.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Just another guy.
That's what he is, just another guy.
Going back to Baltimore with a bad team around him. But, boy, I don't know. John Harbaugh is probably thinking, at Baker Mayfield, he can light us up.
How? It ain't Christmas yet.
Yeah.
The only thing he gonna light up is the Christmas tree. Yeah. He can plug that into the wall. When the last time he lit up a defense? Refresh my memory. Let's go back. Okay, not this year. Let's go back to 2021. Who he lit up?
Well, he tore his labrum and fractured his left shoulder in the second game of the year.
The only thing that's been torn up is his tail. Every team he played against been tearing his tail up.
Let's go back to the last time he was healthy. Woo.
I don't know when was that. It must have been in Oklahoma.
2 years ago.
But guess what happened? Georgia Bulldog put something on him.
They did?
Yeah, well, he was healthy.
No, he got hurt in that game.
He got hurt.
Well,
man, every time Baker Mayfield lose something, he got hurt.
Yeah. He lit up those Georgia Bulldogs. He put some numbers on them.
What number?
Well, it only went 2 overtimes. That's all. Yeah.
Y'all know y'all had a 14-point lead. That's the only thing I know. L.
I had the worst defense in college football that year.
Don't do that, Skip.
Yeah, Nick Chubb ran a track meet.
Yeah. Sure did.